Banana Gaming posted about a potential FPS boost. So, can Game Boost HD help to make Counter-Strike run faster? Your PC has to handle a lot of stuff at the same time. Press Ctrl-Alt-Delete, Task Manager, Details, and you'll see them all running away. It's possible that some of these could be interfering with Counter-Strike's frame rate. Right-click on them and you can change their priority, which effectively makes them more or less important than everything else that your PC is currently doing. Don't go and give them all low and Counter-Strike high. That could cause system instabilities. Instead, leave this to Game Boost. When it spots you in a supported game, it will automatically adjust some of the most common background programs. You can see them here on Game Boost's site. I had a look on my own system at which priorities were changed and it wasn't that extensive. Chrome was set to low, as was Steam and Origin, though interestingly, Origin was already low for me. And, oh, bless its heart, Game Boost sets its own importance to below normal. As well as altering priorities, it also disables power-saving modes. So in short, it doesn't do anything that you couldn't do yourself in a couple of minutes. It's just a nice, convenient and automated way of doing it, reserved for when you're playing games. But doesn't it make a difference? I benchmarked my fast Ryzen 1800X PC and my friend's recently bought 2200G system. These conveniently represent high and low-end gaming rigs. At graphics card limited settings, it didn't change the minimum frame rate at all. On the slower PC, only the maximum frame rate changed, and that was by less than 2%. But on my powerful PC, the same thing happened to the maximum frame rate, and I saw an extra 5 FPS average, which is an improvement of like 3%. These changes are very small, even within the margin of error, but I did test each setting twice on a PC that was freshly booted each time, and I got the same results both times on these settings. To avoid giving such a small improvement credibility, I'll just say that it isn't enough to change things enough to worry about, and I'll move on to my second test. This second test was done in a more processor-bound scenario. The slower PC's only interesting results were with the lowest 1% and 0.1%, the latter of which improved by over 10%, which sounds great, until you realise that's an improvement of 2 FPS. You know when a game stutters once every minute or so? Yeah, that's the sort of thing a 0.1 percentile result would show. Maybe it had to load some new information, or maybe, just maybe, Origin suddenly thought that it was more important than your game and stole some valuable processing time. With Game Boost setting background tasks to low priority, it should hopefully reduce these kinds of interruptions. But these results are only made up of an average of 2 runs, so I decided to give them all another 2 runs each to see if the results would be different. And they were. I think we've just got to accept that minimum frame rate drops in CSGO are severe, but also rare and unpredictable in size. Any changes here are likely not from Game Boost. As for my powerful PC, this saw improvements in all areas apart from maximum frame rates. But I ran these all again twice more and once again got different results. So let's just move on to the final test that I did. Game Boost sets things in the background to low priority. The reason it hasn't made much of a difference so far is because I don't have anything in the background that's misbehaving. So what if I did? While I was running the CSGO benchmark, I also ran another benchmark in Chrome. What I hope to see happen is for Game Boost enabled runs to be faster, perhaps even reaching the results achieved by the benchmarks where there wasn't anything running in the background. But alas, turns out that Windows is pretty good at keeping things in the background away from important system resources without even needing them to be set to low priority. On my powerful PC, the benchmark wasn't enough to make much of a difference to my frame rate in the first place, and having Game Boost enabled actually made CSGO run slower than without it. And on my slower PC, the benchmark did make the game run substantially slower, but Game Boost once again resulted in lower frame rates. But at least the average was a bit higher, I guess. Not going to call that a victory though. All in all, I was hoping to find noticeable differences from using Game Boost. Had I found something reasonably interesting, then I would have investigated in more depth, but I was already doing multiple tests on multiple PCs at multiple settings. It already becomes a pretty big undertaking fairly quickly. From what I found, I'm happy to dismiss every single variance I discovered as being down to variances between the runs, which seems to happen more in CPU-limited situations. And with Chrome running in the background, I suspect the variations between results was more from there being 2 benchmarks running at the same time than it was like from which application had priority, which still didn't seem to make much of a difference. So, should you avoid using Game Boost? No, the program itself makes sense and I like what it tries to do. The PCs I tested, aside from the weird pictures of 2Clicks Philip I found, were in good condition, and what few background programs were running seemed to behave themselves. I suspect Game Boost isn't going to help improve a system that doesn't have problems. But if you've got a PC with a rogue instance of Chrome or Origin running in the background, or poorly configured power settings, then Game Boost could actually improve things. Just be aware that the programs it targets are limited. If you have a virus eating your frame rates, then it's not going to stop it. I suggest you do check Game Boost out. It could help you. It's a 7KB download, and it's so unintrusive when running that my biggest problem I had with it was in knowing if it was actually running or not. In conclusion, Banana Gaming was right. It's a potential FPS boost, if the priority of your applications or power settings are wrong in the first place. If your PC is running slower than it should be, then it's worth trying. But it's not a miracle FPS boost for everyone. I'm going along to the FACEIT Major. If any of you are going and see me, say hi. I'll keep Twitter updated with my whereabouts as much as I can. If you're not going, then you can still watch the games on streaming platforms and from CSGO's main page. The games will be going on until Sunday. Thank you to the guys at FACEIT for this opportunity, and I'm hoping that this will be a very successful major.